All right, so you're back with us again, huh?
Always happy to be here.
That's great. Well, today we're diving into something pretty special.
Oh, yeah. This one is visually stunning.
For sure, and it ties into so much history and culture, too.
Definitely. You ready to take a deep dive into the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C.?
Absolutely. I think our listeners are going to love this one.
It's a classic for a reason, right?
It really is. So I guess the most striking thing when you see pictures or, hear people talk about it is just the sheer number of blossoms.
Yeah, you can't really grasp it until you see it in person. Thousands of these pink and white flowers, they practically take over the city.
And it's not just like a small park or something, right?
No, no, especially around the tidal basin. It's like this huge explosion of color.
And we're talking serious crowds, too, right?
Oh, yeah, the National Cherry Blossom Festival brings in over 1.5 million visitors every year.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it just shows you the kind of power this event has.
It's more than just pretty flowers, for sure.
Way more. I mean, you've got the beauty of nature, of course, but there's this historical layer, this community celebration aspect.
Yeah, you can find peaceful moments just walking under the trees, but then you turn a corner and there's a parade or a festival going on.
Exactly. It's really a unique blend of experiences.
Speaking of history, we should talk about how this whole thing got started.
Yeah, back in 1912, the mayor of Tokyo gave 3,000 cherry trees to the U.S. as a symbol of friendship.
Wow, so that's over a century of this tradition.
It really is, and I think that gesture really resonated. Those trees became this powerful symbol representing peace renewal and,
Yeah.
this lasting bond between Japan and America.
It's amazing how nature can take on that kind of meaning.
And there's this Japanese concept, too, about the beauty of things that are fleeting that really fits in here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like the cherry blossoms are only around for a short time, which makes them even more special.
Right. It's like this reminder to appreciate beauty in the moment because it might not last forever.
So this whole tradition has grown into a pretty huge event, the National Cherry Blossom Festival, right?
It has typically runs from mid-March to mid-April, and there's so much going on.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, there's the Blossom Kite Festival with these incredible kites flying against the backdrop of the blossoms.
Oh, wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, and then there's Petalpalooza, which is like this huge arts and music festival.
You'd probably need a week just to see everything.
Pretty much. And of course, there's the National Cherry Blossom Parade, which is a big deal.
Yeah, I can imagine the whole city gets involved.
For sure, even local businesses get in on the action with cherry blossom-themed food and drinks and all kinds of stuff.
So if someone wanted to see these blossoms themselves, where are the best spots?
Well, the tidal basin is like the classic iconic view. That's where you get those picture-perfect scenes.
Yeah, I've seen those photos. They're stunning.
But there's also the National Mall East Potomac Park. Even the U.S. National Arboretum has some different varieties that bloom a bit later.
So you could potentially extend your viewing time if you went to different spots.
Exactly.
Now I got to ask about this whole peak bloom thing. What does that even mean, and how do they know when it's going to happen?
So peak bloom is when about 70% of the blossoms are open, and it really depends on the weather.
That makes sense.
The National Park Service, they have these experts who track the trees super closely and try to predict when it'll happen.
I bet they're pretty popular people this time of year.
Yeah, I'm sure they get a lot of questions.
So when does peak bloom usually happen?
Well, typically it's late March or early April, but,
Yeah.
with climate change and everything, it's been shifting a bit.
I can imagine.
It makes it even more special when you do catch it at the right time, though.
So what's it like to actually be there during peak bloom?
People say it's a bucket list experience. Imagine the Jefferson Memorial framed by all these delicate pink and white flowers.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be incredible.
And just walking under a canopy of blossoms, it's pretty magical.
It sounds like it.
And, it's so much more than just pretty flowers.
Yeah, we've talked about the history and the cultural connections.
Exactly. The cherry blossom season in D.C., it's become this cherished tradition, a way to celebrate spring, remember a long-standing friendship, and just appreciate the beauty of nature.
And it's a fleeting beauty, too.
Right. It comes and goes so quickly, which makes it even more meaningful.
So for our listeners out there, the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C., they're more than just a pretty sight.
Definitely. It's this powerful symbol of nature history and cultural connection, something that draws millions of people every year.
And it makes you think about how other natural events can symbolize deeper things in different cultures.
It does, and it makes you wonder what fleeting moments of beauty might hold significance in your own life or community.
Some food for thought, for sure.
Definitely.
Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep exploring.
And stay curious.
Don't forget to look up every now and then.
You never know what you might find.
Great.
Take care, everyone.
See